Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is April 9th, 2017. My name's Eric Peterson. Joining me today, the one and I hope only, Mr. Dan Curtis.
No, because we looked this up, if you remember. There was many of us. We are spawning across the globe.
That's unfortunate.
It is. No yum this week?
I mean, the fact that you addressed it within 20 seconds of the show starting.
New leaf, 2017.
We're in a whole new tree.
We are. Fabulous turnover tree.
The turnover tree. It is a.
Yes.
It's a year of.
It's upside down. It's upside down with its roots in the.
It's a year of new beginnings. Slightly sideways beginnings.
Yeah, we'll forget about the new leaf thing when it's gone.
Dan, I'm eating the
Tom
food
is
of.
not here.
I'm eating the food of your people this morning.
What?
McVitie's, the original digestive.
Whatever we can scrape from under Grandad's toenails.
Yeah, snot.
Why would he have snot under his toenail?
I don't know. Maybe he picks his nose with his toes.
That's a juicy one. I'll keep that there for later.
Maybe he's super flexible and can shove his toes up his nose, and he's got long enough nails on his toes to get that really hidden booger.
No.
Granddad's not flexible?
No, just no. Let's not go down this one.
New tree. New tree.
New tree and all that.
No, I'm eating a McVitie's digestive.
Like a normal biscuit?
No, a cookie. It's a coffee cookie.
What does it say on the packet?
It says, "This shit's from England. It probably sucks."
It says, what? Tally her.
Pip, pip.
Pip, pip. Picture of Jeeves on the packet with the
Jeeves, break out the checkbook.
Jeeves, dunk my biscuit for me.
My concern with these, the second they touch water or liquid of any sort, they become immediately soggy.
You have to get the dunking speed right. It takes many years of practice.
I just hold it in there till it falls apart.
And that's where you're going wrong.
And then I just have, by the end, I go through a whole tube of McVitie's. I have like this oatmeal paste coffee that I have to eat with a spoon.
Yeah, but it's weirdly enjoyable.
They're not that good, Dan.
Yes, well, rich tea are better. Chocolate digestives are better.
Well, we have the McVitie's with the chocolate on them.
They're the tip of the nipple, son.
Our grocery store down the street has an English section, so I've slowly been testing.
See, we've started getting American sections.
Just
so
tubs of lard.
Yes. And a fat guy beckoning you over.
I finally found those disgusting things you call beans.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they're
try them?
No.
No, god damn it. They're horrible.
Never tried them. They suck.
They're gonna be horrible. I bet you would friggin' love them.
Probably.
I've got sugar in them, so...
But I would never tell you that I liked them.
No, of course not.
I have to put them over toast?
Meanwhile, you're sitting there in your chair right now. I can't see you. Just covered in beans.
Just rubbing them around.
Just all over your face.
They're so tasty. These things are disgusting.
Yes.
I bought another candy there, too, that sucks.
What?
I don't... Round trees? Those fruit gum things.
Oh, yes. See, this is where you went wrong, because fruit gums are rubbish. Fruit pastels are nice.
Fruit pastels.
Yes, they're like softer and coated in sugar, and they're really nice.
See, they have those there as well, but they didn't feel any softer.
They are softer.
Well, these ones are not soft in the least bit, despite saying gum.
No, they're rock hard, aren't they?
Yeah. Takes like 20 minutes to get it to a chewable state.
Yeah. It's weird how we have such different things. You'd think it would just bleed over and be very similar.
Definitely not.
Like, we got Lucky Charms taken off us because they're full of shit, which is really not good for you.
I was out to eat the other day for lunch, and the place that I was at had a Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms.
It had a Lucky Charms milkshake.
Oh, my God.
I know.
It's like the dream.
But I'd already eaten a brulee burger and could not afford any more calories for the day.
What, like a creme brulee?
Sure. It's a burger with sweet onions and an egg on it and
It's
bacon.
not a brulee, you friggin' weirdo.
That's what it was called, brulee burger.
Well, then, talking shite.
Yeah, it's from a place called Paradise Valley Burger Company, home of the brulee burger.
Retards!
What's supposed to be a brulee?
A custard-based dessert with a crust on the top.
Well, that's wrong.
What do you call that?
Custard-based dessert with crust on top.
Oh, right, okay. Seriously, never heard of a creme brulee.
Well, the word brulee can be used for other things.
Can it shite?
That's what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
Yeah. Smashing together. So, anyway, what's happened to Tom? I'm slightly concerned.
I have zero idea. He was in Poland doing his thing, and then he just disappeared.
But you have no idea where he's gone.
I haven't heard from him.
Nope. He's abandoned us. Oh no, it's just going to be me and you.
Shit. I don't think people can handle that.
I need a new main host. Help.
You're mine now, Curtis.
No.
Mm.
Hey, if anyone should be the main host, it should be me. Let me remind you that, you know what? I saved this show. So.
There are certain things that I just let you
every
continue to tell yourself. Dan,
Well, if you throw shit long enough, it'll stick eventually.
I bought a monster truck.
A real one?
Well, it's real in the capacity that I can touch it.
Is it small?
It's not small.
Is it a Diddy monster truck?
What's a Diddy monster truck?
Like Diddy Kong is Diddy because he's small.
That's not a thing to say. People don't say that.
Yes, they do.
No.
Yeah, they do.
We, as a group of friends, got a wild hair up our ass and decided we wanted to get really fast remote control monster trucks. And let me tell you what, they're a blast.
So random sometimes, you.
I broke mine within 5 seconds of owning it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
How much did you pay?
Like $700.
What?
Yeah.
And you broke it.
Well, kind of broke it. I broke the spoiler.
Such a tit.
It's got too much power. And it immediately, I went to hit the brakes.
You shouldn't be allowed things.
I went to hit the brakes and then wanted to go in reverse. It has so much power. It immediately flipped over onto its top at full speed and cracked the spoiler.
You learn
But-
nothing from the electric unicycle.
We then proceeded to go take them to the park and launch them over bushes and off sidewalks and downstairs, and they're just fine.
Just imagine it being launched off a ramp, going over a bush, on the other side I hear not again.
We took it out to the park the other day. We're doing backflips with them. It's a ton of fun.
Edna called the police. I've been hit by a monster truck.
Them rapscallions are at it again.
God damn it.
My hip.
Right in the eye.
It's indulging in every 12-year-old RC fantasy that I wanted. Because as a kid, I had RC cars that were powered by...
Now, like 82.
Huh?
How old are you now? Like 82.
67.
All right. Okay.
No, the RC cars I had growing up all had AA batteries, and they would take 600 of them and last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I used to have one called the Dragonfly, which had like an X on the back, and you could get it up on the X, and it would do tricks and stuff. But it only lasted about 2 minutes.
Yeah, these will last about 30.
Wow.
And they
Not
go
bad.
55 miles an hour. So we have
I'm so surprised you haven't killed anyone.
Well, we have a street in front of our house that's pretty long and straight, and yesterday we were just tearing down the road as fast as we could. I didn't even have the guts to get it up to full speed because one wrong turn and the thing just goes catapulting. But they can take such a beating. We flipped these things. They've done like 15 cartwheels, landed on their wheels, and they just keep going.
That's impressive.
They're so much fun.
He's so easily pleased.
And Ellie loves it. She's like, Daddy, go race monster trucks.
Yes,
So we just go to the park.
Why? Because she's a child.
Oh, yeah. So I viewed it as an investment of spending time with my child.
But it's really for you.
Oh, yeah, 100%
Let's
for
face
me.
it, you had children so you could play with shit.
And write it off as this is for the kids.
I think that's the only reason I would have children, to be quite honest.
Yeah. I mean, face it, Dan, if you lived here with us, we would have guilted you into buying one as well.
Probably.
Yeah. Because they're
I wouldn't
just
even
that
have a
much fun.
girlfriend to tie me down and say, no, you can't buy that.
No, that's where you just... It's always easier to ask for forgiveness. So my other buddy bought one that was even more expensive than mine, and it was sitting in his kitchen the morning after he bought it, and his wife comes downstairs and looks at it and goes, what the hell is that? I mean, his is like twice the size of mine. It's just massive. And he goes, babe, it's a monster truck. She's like, I can see that, but why? He just goes, because monster truck, and picks it up and walks out the door.
Sounds about right, like.
Yeah, because monster truck. It's just, let's go race.
Guys, monster truck, I'm so sorry. Please don't hit me.
Babe, it's okay. It's a monster truck.
Just imagine him like just cowering behind the kitchen counter.
We were setting his up in his kitchen.
Then just pops up and goes, "Guys, monster truck."
Because monster truck. We were setting his up in his kitchen and had zero idea what we were doing. Trying to figure out how to get it to work. And one of my buddies was standing next to the door leading out into the garage. And the guy who bought this one gunned the trigger and at full speed slams into this other guy's legs and pins him against the door out to the garage.
What, just some random guy?
Oh, one of our other friends who didn't have one. He just came over to see him.
I was gonna say,
Oh, dude, those things are fun.
is that old guy again?
Help me, Edna. I'm stuck in a random kitchen, pinned against a wall by a monster truck.
Well, as long as you enjoy yourself.
We're going to take him to the skate park this week and launch him off skate ramps.
I can't wait to see how much you can destroy it.
Fortunately, everything is modular and replaceable.
For how much?
Not cheap. My spoiler breaking. Oh, so when I broke it, I just cracked it. The other day we were doing backflips with him, and I missed a backflip, landed on the back, going about 30 miles an hour, and it sheared the spoiler straight off. Support structure and everything. Just gone. That mistake cost me about $45.
You have such an understanding wife.
I do. She thinks they're fantastic. Plus, it keeps Ellie entertained, so she sees it as a good investment.
Yeah, but that kid gets entertained by a phone going, what?
Her palate is a bit more sophisticated now.
All right, okay.
Yeah. She's no longer entertained by what?
Jeeves, say what for me?
Yeah, she gets Jeeves. What?
What?
Would your Jeeves say what? Jeeves. What?
Quite so what?
What?
No, he just comes in and goes, what?
I'd imagine him to be kind of rotund with big jowls, and then when he goes, what? His face is all shaking around.
Like a, what's it called, that dog with the jowls?
Yeah, from like Turner and Hooch.
I can't.
This isn't a dog podcast, so I don't know my dogs.
No.
I barely know my
Dogs
video
podcast,
games.
The Gosh Darn Dog podcast.
I mean, gosh darn could become a brand.
It could.
We already have a burger company. Maybe we could sell a brulee burger.
Made of custard.
Yeah, it's a creme brulee between two buns.
I reckon Americans would eat that.
with a slab of bacon crammed through the middle of it.
Oh yeah. We don't do bacon. We do burgers, and that's it.
That's right, just burgers. No buns, just slabs of meat.
I really want to open that restaurant someday.
I'll tell you what, if I ever get rich,
Waste it all on that shit.
I'll buy another monster truck. And then I'll fund you $10.
Thanks. I'll get me far.
Just about all we'll need.
Just a cardboard box on a corner with some burgers in it. Want to go stone burger? Coffee.
You want some cooked meat?
Might be a bit shifty. We're not sure where it's from.
Dan, how are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you? Yeah.
If I were any better, there would need to be two of me.
The world's not ready for that shit.
I know.
I'm kind of glad you haven't had a son.
I have two daughters, though.
I know, but I think a son would be worse.
You're probably right. I think we should talk about the Xbox Scorpio.
Should we?
Because it's another new console-ish coming out. Did you see the specs that were released for it?
Yeah. It's powerful. Think. Well, they announced it through Eurogamer's Digital Foundry, which is, to me, is just unintelligible garbage.
Well, you could clearly tell that those people were flown out there to see this thing or
Oh, they were. They said that.
Go to these events, so they're just gonna talk it up. But if you look at the actual specs of the console, it's insane compared to the PS4 Pro.
It is, but I don't care.
But the reason I brought this up is because everybody is going bananas over the specs. But for me, and I think a lot of people, there's been chatter. I've been reading about people's reaction to this. It boils down to the games.
It does. And I was racking my brains the other day thinking about it. What does Microsoft have coming up from an exclusive standpoint? And I was like, I don't know.
I honestly don't know either.
I mean, I know we don't have an Xbox, but I keep up to date with gaming, and they had Scalebound coming up, but they cancelled that. And they have probably a new Forza, which has no interest for me. Probably Halo. Unless they have a very big E3 where they announce a lot of new games, I see no appeal whatsoever.
Most of my friends that have an Xbox One haven't touched it in over a year and a half.
Really?
Yep. But I think the thing that's really going to set the Scorpio apart is the fact this will become one of the best 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray players. Kind of like how PS3 ushered in the era of Blu-ray and made it affordable. And PS2 ushered in the era of DVD and made it affordable.
Do you think that we will see Sony step up their ramp up the PS4 Pro?
I don't think so. It's really interesting to discern what Microsoft is doing with this. Is this akin to the PS4 Pro, or is this going to be a next generation console that's also capable of playing Xbox 360 and Xbox One games?
I don't know, man.
It seems more like a new console than a generational step. It's got 50% more RAM. It has 50% more memory. Same hard drive. 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray. It's got a massively improved GPU and custom CPU.
Yeah. But for me, Eric, I have never been... I mean, shiny graphics are all nice and stuff, but I've never been a graphic guy. I'm one of them people who just looks at 30 FPS and 60 FPS and just goes, meh.
Yeah.
You know, like I can't really tell any discernible difference, to be quite honest.
Well, historically, look back at some of the failed consoles from history. The Sega Saturn is a great example of that. Just didn't have the games. The 3DO just didn't have the games. They were ahead of their time.
I feel that like Microsoft, when they first launched the Xbox One, because if you remember back when they first announced it, they announced it kind of as this entertainment hub rather than a game
TV,
console. TV. It's the next water cooler.
Where's the water?
What the hell are you talking about? I have never forgiven them for that one.
Oh, that E3 was terrible. It was nothing but TV and soccer.
It wasn't even E3. They didn't even show it when they first announced the console. They just didn't even talk about games. They just showed it.
No.
And then Sony announced theirs with loads of games.
That was the best E3.
I think ever since then, Microsoft has been playing catch up because they've let their first parties die. Like they have, for example, Microsoft owns Rare. They have an absolute gold mine there.
Oh yeah,
games like, and they don't do anything.
But
they had Rare, one of the like legendary game developers, making friggin' Kinect games. Like, what the hell?
But
Banjo-Kazooie is sitting ready to go.
On the same, on that note, the reviews for Yooka-Laylee have showed that Rare was the king of a niche market that has kind of come and gone. I think a lot of us look back at that era of gaming with rose-colored glasses.
I don't know, man, because the reviews for that have been incredibly different. I've seen as low as 2 out of 10, and I've seen actual 10 out of 10 reviews.
Which goes to show that probably the people who gave it a really high score are playing it and forgiving its shortcomings because they grew up in that era. They played the Banjo-Kazooies, they played the Banjo-Tooie, and all of those Rare games, and they want a game like that to succeed now. So they're willing to forgive its shortcomings.
Possibly, but I think it'll probably still be quite good. Even so.
So I looked up.
I'm going to pick it up. It's out in 2 days.
So you are going to get it?
Well, at some point.
Okay. I mean, I'll eventually get it.
I'm balls deep in Horizon Zero Dawn at the moment. So
I looked up upcoming Xbox games. Crackdown 3, which I loved the Crackdown games.
Me too. Surprise hit then.
Enough to buy a console? No. Halo Wars, Phantom Dust, Sea of Thieves, which is going to be incredible. I'll just get it on computer. State of Decay 2, and that's about it.
It's a real shame they cancelled Scalebound, because that looked alright.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How many people do you know that actually have an Xbox One?
One.
And does he play it? She play it?
He does not.
Ooh.
That is mainly because he is working and at university at the same time. So, but you know, I said it to him after the Scorpio reveal, and he went, "Yeah, there's not many games."
Yeah.
And
if you like sports games, there you go.
A shame. I mean, obviously you get your third-party games, which come out on both.
Now, I don't want to see Microsoft fail because
no.
I think we need healthy competition to push innovation.
Yeah, but Sony has really stepped their game up with the exclusives this year.
Oh yeah,
like they've had an amazing open to the year. They've had Horizon, Persona.
They had
5.
Nioh. Nioh was a sleeper hit. Came out of nowhere.
What did?
Nioh?
Yeah, I still haven't finished that.
Yeah, neither have I.
I mean, they've got The Last of Us 2 coming up, which will sell like crazy.
Ugh.
I don't want it.
I don't want it, but I'll play it.
I don't want it.
Because I want it.
That's bloody shite.
No, the plot's not shit. I've always wanted a game like that they don't just milk. And I'm afraid that's what's going to happen to this series. It's going to be great. I know it is. It's Neil Druckerman and his team. They're going to do fine. But it was such a powerful experience. It's like, you know what? Let's just let this be.
But what about if you get to like stroke a polar bear or something next time instead of a giraffe?
Just give me another
Spoilers.
giraffe. I think we're past the
The
spoiler
Last of Us
content.
2, Giraffe Simulator.
Giraffe stroker.
Sounds like the box art to Resident Evil 6.
That's just gonna say.
If you haven't seen that, Google it, because you can Google that one safely. You just once you see it, you can't unsee it.
That was with the logo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They wisely strayed away from that for Resident Evil 7.
Yes, they did. Very, very straightforward logo.
Mm-hmm.
Dan,
Yeah. Hello.
our game of the week. Shall we talk about that?
Yes, let's.
I've been dying to talk about this game on the show for years.
Alundra.
Alundstalkorrrrrr.
It basically is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So a while ago, we played Alundstalkorrrrrr
Alundstalkorrrrrr.
with Nigel the toothpick-eared chipmunk.
Yes. With the giant feet.
Oh, yeah. Like boat for shoes.
And Friday the Fairy.
Oh, God, it was so dumb.
And bizarre gold eagles which come from nowhere.
I forgot
And
how
impossible controls.
I forgot how dumb Landstalker really was.
The controls, man.
They're so bad.
I can't believe I finished that game. I don't even know how.
I made it close, but I had to give up.
Oh, it was horrible.
But in its day, it was good.
I can't even imagine how people finished it without save states.
I don't either.
It seems physically impossible.
You could have done it.
I couldn't.
You could have, yes. But never had a sequel, except Alundra is very clearly the sequel.
It is, yes.
Even
Very
down to Alundra probably having been Nigel in some capacity, in some form at some point. Released
with a more fantasy name.
Yes, a much more fitting name. So, well, I played Alundra. Dan, you played The Adventures of Alundra.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
That is a
Back in
really
the day-
odd name.
I don't know why they change names for certain games in Europe. Like, how does Adventures of Alundra sound any more exotic than
And it's
just
not
Alundra?
really multiple adventures. He's on one adventure.
And it's a tiny bit on the box art which says The Adventures of. I mean, you can barely see it.
Oh, I can see it because it's real dumb.
You can see a really fugly-looking elf dude with toothpicks for ears straddling an ear.
He looks like he's got a cigarette, like a large cigarette sticking out of his
He
leg.
does.
And then,
Yeah, Alundra is a RPG where you use a giant cigarette to fight your foes.
yeah.
Wait for them to expire over 80 years over second-hand smoke inhalation.
Game was
Actually,
released.
Different publishers in different locations.
Oh, yeah, yours is Signosis. Ours is Working Designs. And
Signosis do.
I don't know. I love Working Designs. They have made some fantastic games.
Oh, you know what, Eric? I did play the North American version because the version that's on the PS3 store is the North American version.
Oh, so you didn't have to deal with the terrible
Because working
title.
design comes up.
Yeah. And then the really random anime.
Oh yeah. Which
What's
looks
that
like
all
the
about?
looks like the terrible old Zelda cartoon.
Ugh.
It comes from nowhere.
All right, so Alundra was released April of 97 in Japan, December of 97. North America, June of 98 in Europe. It is. How quickly we get sidetracked. It is an action-adventure role-playing game that's basically a top-down Zelda clone.
It's also basically Landstalker without horrible isometrics.
Yeah, they decided to not do the 3D from a weird angle. Instead, it's top-down-ish. Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
You play as Alundra, who is a silent protagonist, like Link. So there's another similarity. You're an elf from a fabled clan of Elna, who's also known as the Dreamwalkers. He sets out for this island on a ship. Ship gets shipwrecked. He washes up on the island in a town of Ainoa and discovers that everybody there is under a curse of nightmares that cause them to die.
Yes, all their nightmares are Ronnie Pickering just on a look.
It's
Don't
Dan.
you know who I am?
Oh God, no! Kill me now!
It's horrible. Yeah, what were you saying? Sorry.
They shortly discover that he has the ability to dreamwalk and save these people from their dreams.
Handy.
But he has to save them from their nightmare before they die within their nightmare, or he himself will die as well.
Yes.
That's
So
the
half
gist
the
of the story.
Spoilers, half the time people die anyway.
This game is filled with so much character death.
You know what struck me first from a gameplay perspective? When it suffers from these old kind of RPGs things where there's no logical progression, and somebody will say to you, "Oh, so and so would like to speak to you," and you're like, "Who is that?"
There's so many people in this town.
Yeah, you have to basically go to a certain place in the town and talk to a certain person to kick off the next section of the narrative. And you'll go and talk to this bizarre dude who says, "Do you know what I mean?" continuously, and sort of adopts you as his son in a weird, creepy way. And then he will sort of give you a hint of where to go.
His wife and child died, so he's looking for a surrogate.
You know what it reminds me of? Undertale, where that woman at the start wants to be your mother.
Oh yeah.
Or the weird cow thing wants
Yeah,
to be
but Jess, so the guy that takes you in, his name is Jess. He is a blacksmith.
And all he says is, "Shut up!" Oh, I miss Jess.
That's her only line. Shut up.
Shut
up. You were going somewhere with that.
Was I?
I don't know.
You've distracted me again.
So there's an overarching reason behind why this is happening. And I have a note. I took notes on this one, Daniel.
Oh, well done.
I got to find out where it was. Because there's this... I don't know if he's a demon.
He's a big, shiny thing.
Yeah, he's a demon. Melzos, he's a demon. Who's disguised himself as a god. And basically put a curse on the land. So the king of the land, this is what it was. The king of the land was pissed off that everybody was worshiping idols. Outlawed idols. I gotta find my note on that because I think I'm explaining that wrong. Dan, find something else to talk about. I'm gonna read my notes.
I will go back to the narrative thing because it is strange that you have to. Because I've basically wandering back and forth between all these different houses trying to find the one dude who I have to speak to progress the story, because each character has a name, but it's not really obvious which ones.
No, and there's no map.
I spent more time than I'd like just wandering around that town trying to find people. There is a fortune teller who gives you hints.
Well, and then if you pay her 15 guilder... She'll mark on a map where you need to go, but you can never access that map.
No, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because
like,
there is a big overworld, but you showed me you've got that guide with the map inside, right?
yeah,
I think you need to talk about the guide.
we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
It's the worst guide I've ever seen.
It's terrible. He's been sending me pictures of it. It's absolute
So I found my
shite.
note on this. Here's what happened. People used
Okay.
to pray to idols. The king suddenly decreed all idol worship illegal, and at that point, there was a palace in the North Lake that became submerged. People lost their passion to create things, and the gods were angry with them for not praying to them, and they believe that's why this curse was sent down.
Okay.
But it's really just Melzos putting a curse over people to die.
God, what an evil guy.
Eh,
Does he actually have any motivation to be evil, or is he just evil for
he's
the
just
shits and
evil.
giggles?
Well, he's a demon. Demons are inherently evil.
Bastards.
Yeah.
Bastards, bastards, bastards.
I do like how quick this game gets started, though. They don't have a whole bunch of random stuff jumping around. You know, go fetch me this, go do that. It's you show up, shit starts going south real quick, and you're immediately thrust into somebody's dream to help them survive. And that's when things get kicked off and people realize, oh, you can help us. But it's not long before shit still continues to go wrong. And not too far into it, they start accusing you of being the harbinger of death. You know, you're an angel of death.
Basically, everybody's been dying since you showed up, so fair enough.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. There's so many different styles of people in the town. Like Sybil, she has the ability to see what's going to happen. She can see her dreams while she's still awake, shortly before they happen.
Doesn't she set off explosions randomly as well?
No.
There is somebody who sets off explosions.
Well, I think they were talking about Sybil, and that's when the explosion at the coal mine happened.
Oh. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
My favorite guy is the surfer dude.
Oh, Bonaire.
It's so funny. Such stereotypical surfer language.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, she's such a babe. I'm going to catch this gnarly wave.
I was surprised with that for 97. It's the translations and stuff of this are actually very good. And the characters actually come across as quite amusing, some of them. And
It is good writing. And you actually start to care a little bit about the characters. But I think a lot of that really helps is helped by the music. You know, it's got the game as a whole has pretty catchy music, but
yeah, it's a decent soundtrack.
When somebody dies in town, one of two things happens. There's either zero music, which is kind of unnerving because it's normally really happy, chipper music, and all you hear are birds chirping, or there's this really somber, depressing music that just overcomes everything, and it just lends to the atmosphere of, okay, shit's messed up here.
Oh, that's something I meant to talk about with you. What is the deal with selecting things on this game?
What do you mean?
Well, if you go to a save point, you press square to select the book,
and then X to select it.
Press X to save.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's dumb.
I'm hammering square, going, why isn't it working? Finally, press X and it works. I'm like, huh? Because for most of the game, square is interact.
Yeah.
And attack.
Yeah.
So half the time you end up slashing away at something without. I think we need to talk actually about the actual gameplay, because as you said, it's like a top-down Zelda. You can slash, you can actually jump as well. Like a lot of this game involves platforming puzzles, which go from mediocre to quite easy to absolutely rock hard.
Oh man, I spent 45 minutes on one last night.
Oh god.
Yeah.
There's the bit I'm up to. They incorporate like these ice pillars that you push and they move towards the direction you've pushed.
Yup.
And you have to use them for different. Oh my god, such a ball ache. Because you have to go out of the room and go back into the room every time you do it wrong. And if there's enemies in that room, they respawn every time. So,
and you have a very finite amount of health.
Yes.
And the dungeons.
You are dead.
Oh yeah, I've lost 2 hours of time.
I lost a good hour as well.
save points are very few and far between. There's typically one save point per dungeon about 2/3 of the way through. That once you're at that point, it's pretty hard to backtrack out. You can, but it takes a long time. And then coming back in, you're probably just going to expend any health that you went to purchase anyway.
Yep.
Which is what I've been doing. So I'm in a dungeon right now where I can't quite beat the boss. I have one Wonder Essence, which revives you immediately when you die, and I have one Strength Elixir that revives your health completely, but that's it. And I burned through both of those trying to beat this boss. So I've backtracked out to buy 9 herbs. I got back to the save point. I had 3. So
I actually took your advice and did that after I died at the coastal cave and lost all my progress and haven't played it for most of the week because I was so annoyed.
yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and then I went out, saved it, got all the way through without barely getting hit, and made it to the save point. I was like, really?
It's a bit annoying. It'd be nice if they would have had like a teleport out.
I think part of the problem is it's quite easy to get hit. And I think it's not a fault of you. I think it's a fault of some of the game design. For example, there's some enemies in the coastal cave, the big green goblin things with the shield.
Yeah.
If you hit them, they kind of go off to the side, and then they can hit you, but you can't hit them. And there's also, in that section, they also start introducing like the spiked balls which fall from the ceiling onto you and stuff. They take off about 3 parts of your health every time you get hit by them. And there's one room where you have to hit a switch, run through a incredibly complicated platforming section with these spike balls there, try and avoid them, and get to the end before the door shuts.
I don't think it's possible to make it through there without getting hit twice.
I don't either.
Because
there's one that falls from the ceiling.
If you stop at all, you will miss your window.
Yeah.
But what's more frustrating than that, in that same cave, there's a room you come into and it has 2 giant balls rotating around pillars. And you have to break the pillar and send the ball flying into a very specific location so you can make a jump around the room.
But if you get one wrong, you can't do it.
And you have to restart. And it's not like there's a bunch of enemies or anything in there. It's just
so annoying.
Really hard. That's the one that probably took me 30, 45 minutes to just get perfect, because I always messed up the one that had to go in the bottom right because it's a corner jump. The other one you could be a little bit more forgiving with.
I don't mind a puzzle on a game, but when it's unfair like that, and it's just you're doing it really not through fault, but just trial and error. And
the Ancient Shrine is a perfect example of that exact thing. You remember this puzzles where you had to hit the switch and then either spikes would fall down or a barrel?
Oh, that was stupid.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Then because you had to get the barrels basically to put them on these switches. And if the spikes fell down, you'd get hit and hurt. There's no, and then eventually, if you don't catch enough barrels, only spikes fall.
Yeah, and one of them you needed 2 barrels. Well, actually, both of them you needed 2, but the second one they gave you the impression that you needed 4 barrels. But this time, only 1 barrel would fall and 3 spikes. So it's just a pure guessing game.
I know.
I lost a ton of health for that. And that second one comes right before a boss battle.
Yeah, it's worth stating that I haven't emulated this one. I'm actually playing it on the PS3, so there's no way to cheat the system.
Proud of you, Dan.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
But sometimes I'm kind of regretting that because this game is hard.
Yeah, but it's still good.
It's weird. Like, most of it, I was thinking, am I going to get better sword and armor at some point? I was looking in all the chests, seeing if you could just find weapons, but you don't. You get them at specific points throughout the story.
Which is similar to Zelda.
It is similar to Zelda, but then I thought back to Landstalker, and I think that was the same.
Yeah. Well, there's one store in town that you can... She has armor on her sale shelf, but it's not for sale.
Yet. I assume you can get it later.
I assume.
There is also a blacksmith somewhere who sells armor.
Have you come across the shop on the coastal town or the coast that everything is more expensive than even the most amount of money you can hold?
No.
Everything is 10,000 guilder and the max you can hold is 9,999.
No.
And he always yells at you to get out of there because you're a kid. Like, this is the coastal fine niceties. No kiddies allowed.
One of the items you get early on is the bombs, and they're quite unwieldy, I think.
They're super helpful for the stone turtle enemies.
Yeah, they breathe fire at you.
Yeah, one bomb, dead. Otherwise, like 6 ball and chain
Provided
hits.
you hit it specifically.
No, you
within a
just got to
very
be
small
somewhere
range.
near it.
No, sometimes it still misses.
The hit detection is a bit wonky in this, where enemies can clip through walls and hit you.
Yeah,
So there's
some of them in the coastal cave were going behind the rocks and everything. I was like, where's the gun? It was crazy.
the height doesn't seem to generally be a considering factor either. I'll be up on a pillar and somebody's below me and they can still hit me.
Sometimes it's hard with the way it's set up to see where you are height-wise, particularly for platforming.
Yeah, and that was a shortcoming of Landstalker as well.
Landstalker was worse.
Much worse, because you had not only that to deal with, but you had the goofy 3D angle.
Yeah, the forest maze in Landstalker was one of the worst things ever in the game.
Man. If I never play that section of a game ever again, it'll be too soon.
I did enjoy the bit with the brothel, though.
It wasn't a
No
brothel.
brothel so far in Alundra, though.
There's plenty of time left.
Not good.
Story-wise, I'm curious to see where this goes because I've never beaten this. This is one of my favorite games, much like Dark Cloud, but I've never beaten it. I've always gotten up to a little over halfway through, but just never beat it.
Well, this time you will.
There's a good turn coming up.
We are actually splitting this into 2 parts, right?
Yeah.
So
there's a good turn coming up that I think you've already gotten to with Klein.
Yes.
So people start randomly dying in town. And there's a scene about a quarter of the way through where Klein is having a dream and he's running around town and he hears this howling and doesn't know what it is. And Klein is this big badass hunter in town that carries a crossbow around. He's really out of place with everybody else in town. Everyone's just either a scholar or a priest or a shopkeeper or a blacksmith, and then there's Klein, who looks like a vampire hunter.
Yes.
Running around town trying to find this guy, and then at the end of his dream, he spasms and turns into a werewolf and runs away.
Yes.
That's his dream.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
I was waiting for you to respond. I was giving you the option to fill in.
Nah,
didn't think so. So where you're at, you go into his dream, and I haven't gotten to that point yet, so I don't recall exactly what you do in his dream.
Yeah, I've just finished that bit, so I don't know. Do you want to stop at the coastal cave, or do you want me to fill you in?
I mean, I've played it before, so I know what's coming.
Yeah, his dream's basically like an icy castle.
Yeah.
And that's where the icy pillar things are. So
now,
you've got that to look forward to, Eric.
Have you met Mia yet?
Mia?
Yeah, okay, so no. M-E-I-A.
Oh, yes, she's Alundra's counterpart.
Yeah, another Dreamwalker shows up.
Yes. Who's a bit of a bitch.
A bit. Just a bit. There's one puzzle that always frustrated me right away at the beginning called Lars's Crypt.
Oh, God.
Where you have these 6 statues that give you these really cryptic phrases like...
my teaching is not as important as someone else's teaching.
The foundation of Red's teaching is green. Blue wants nothing to do with brown. So you have to figure out the order in which these guys' teachings are adhered to, and then you have to talk to them from bottom to top. Or is it top to
Yeah.
bottom?
Now you have to talk them in a certain order to
Well,
get to
no,
where.
I understand that, but you have to figure out what the order is, and then you have to talk to them from least important to most important. Or is it
Maybe it's
most
least
important to
important
least?
to most. It might be most to at least.
And that's the part I always got messed up on because I always figured out what it was. I'm like, oh shit, what order do I talk to these people in? And then if you mess up, you have to walk out and go back in. But there was an interesting gravestone in there, in that crypt. It just says, "Here lies Alundra." Did you come across that one?
Yeah.
The hell's that all about?
I don't know. They probably just couldn't think of another name and just put it.
Fancy that! There's somebody else here.
What a nice name.
I
I wonder if he had toothpicks for ears as well.
Was he a chipmunk?
I wonder if he had giant feet.
I really liked Bonaire's dream, to be honest.
I thought it was very similar to the first one, though. Like, people have very specific dreams about small ledges with blocked platforms in Alundra.
Well, they're being trapped in these nightmares. But no, in terms of how his dream was interacting with the world outside, because there's a girl in town named Nadia who refuses to sleep because she's afraid of what will happen. I think she's the one you're talking about, that when she sleeps, shit happens.
It might be.
But she's afraid that if she sleeps, she'll die. And she doesn't want to go to sleep until she can tell Bonaire her feelings. And she wants to proclaim her love for him. But Bonaire...
You find her just staring through his house earlier on. Did you see that?
It did. Just peeping on through.
Just at the window. Oh, look at that.
But Bonaire
look at
is...
that bulge.
Oh, look at that, Bonaire.
Winner of all the penis jokes.
Ooh!
And put in the massive telly.
Put it on the sophisticated penis joke chart.
We're gonna need a bigger board. Well done, Eric.
I know. It was a good one. I'm done. I have no thoughts left.
I
it?
think that's it, really.
All right, see you next week. He's in a coma, and he keeps calling out for this girl named Sarah, and nobody knows who Sarah is.
She's
So
a bodacious babe.
she is one bodacious babe.
Oh yeah.
Gets this Bonaire going.
No, so you're overdoing it now.
Well, his name is Bonaire, and it's getting him
No.
going.
Do you think that is an intentional pun?
Yeah, I don't think Bonaire is a surfer name.
I didn't even click on.
You didn't even click on that it was Boner?
No.
I thought you had a dirtier mind than that.
No, apparently not.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
disappointed in myself.
if he were a surfer, he would have had a name like Kelly or Adrian.
Oh, hey, dudes, I'm Bonaire.
Yeah, I'm Bonaire.
Oh, really? I'm Erection. Have you met Stiffy? Oh, didn't I notice?
I'm super disappointed in you, Dan.
I'm disappointed in myself.
You literally didn't know till I made the boner joke through the window.
Honestly, not. See, nah. I give up. I'm sorry. So much apologies.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But anyway, nobody knows who Sarah is. Nadia loses faith. You go into Bonaire's dream, discover that Sarah is this succubus who's luring Bonaire to be her slave.
Yeah, it doesn't look so good when not Sarah.
Yes, not good. Almost looks like a fat, frumpy chocolate pudding monster.
Oh, I want to talk about the bosses on this. They're hard. They take so many hits.
Very hard.
It's just the length of the battle, because they take a good 20 hits each, maybe, if not more.
And I don't think the different weapons you have do a different amount of damage per boss. I think the bosses are based off of just pure hits.
Possibly, but I tried that on the boss on the coastal cave, the water thing, and I was doing the charge attack with the sword, and that seemed to kill
Wait,
it a bit
what?
quicker. You didn't know the sword had a charge attack?
No?
Yeah, hold down square for a bit, and he starts to glow, and then he slams the ground with the energy attack.
So this is basically Zelda.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said. I did not know there was a charge attack. How did you find that out? Did they tell you?
I held square.
Ugh. How did I not know that? I've played this so many times.
I
Never
really
knew
don't
there was a
know.
charge attack.
Only with the sword, though.
Well, yeah, because you can't do a charge attack with a ball and chain.
Of course you can.
Nah.
You could spin round in a circle.
No, you can't.
Well, I want to.
Okay, but just because you want to doesn't mean you
And then
can.
get it wrapped around your head.
Hold on, I gotta undo this. Okay, well, I mean, that's good to know then. You do have magic in this game, very, very limited magic.
Yeah, you can use it like once per dungeon if you're lucky.
Well, you can get magic elixirs and then use it twice per dungeon.
Yeah, but this game continues the Landstalker shop thing of where you have to pick up the item, put it on the desk, then can only buy one of said item, and then have to go and pick up another one and put it on the desk.
Hey, nobody said this game was perfect.
You did.
I said it was awesome.
I hate that part. I hated it on Landstalker, and I don't like it now.
It's super, super annoying. But I can forgive it because I don't spend a ton of time. The herbs are pretty easy to come across.
Herbs.
Herbs.
You generally end up burning through them all when you're on the boss.
I burn through them before I get to the boss.
You suck arse, my friend.
Oh, you don't have to tell me. Shit, we were talking about something and I was going to make a point.
Story.
We
We were talking about Bonaire.
I don't know. The Bonaire threw me off.
You don't want that.
Yeah, it's too flustered by Bonaire. It's just such a big part of the story.
How didn't I notice? I are disappointed.
Yeah, you've gone down a couple notches on the almost cool meter.
Damn it.
God damn it. Shit, I had a point and I don't remember what it was.
Doesn't matter then, does it?
No.
Now, overall though, it's an alright little game. Bit frustrating. I don't like the lack of save points.
That is super frustrating.
I don't like some of the platforming, but I'm interested to see where it goes. Apparently the storyline gets much darker as you go on, so...
You know what's really dark is this strategy guide, because there is no color, no pictures, just text.
Man, that was the most beautiful of segues.
You like that? Actually,
Yes.
I take that back. 88 pages into the guide, the first picture shows up.
Really?
Yeah. And they're really not even
Wow.
helpful in terms of what's happening.
How did they manage that?
This is, and the cover has nothing to do with the game. It's a silhouette of a weird dragon with a loopy tail.
Why is that there?
I'm assuming it's an homage to the Gilded Falcons,
Oh.
which is hilarious because on the
looks like the guide you got looks like something somebody's made in clip art.
oh yeah, it looks like something an
Themselves.
8th grader would make. It's terrible.
It is atrocious.
Brian Boyle should be ashamed of himself.
Yeah, Brian.
I
If
think
you're
it's funny
listening.
that on the cover it says the location of every gold falcon. Like, well, great. There's no gold falcons in the game. They're gilded falcons.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh dear. I can't believe you bought this.
I do. Well, how much did I pay for it? I don't know. Not full price, I'll tell you that. It's bad. It's really bad. I haven't even used it. That's how bad it is.
I'm not surprised. I hate terrible strategy guides.
I don't use guides. I have a problem with buying them. Like the Breath of the Wild guide, bought the collector's edition guide, didn't open it until after I had beaten the game.
See, I used to get, whenever a Final Fantasy came out, I always used to get the strategy guide to go with it. But nowadays, with access to the internet, and to be honest, I like to just play a game myself and find things without any knowledge of what's happening. And I think with Zelda, if I'd known a lot of the stuff ahead of time, it wouldn't have been as impactful.
I buy it more as a collection.
Yeah.
Because I have some really old, rare guides. Well, no, I took the seal off.
My God.
I know, I had to smell it.
I'm so surprised.
But speaking of collection, I've been cleaning house a little bit. And I've decided I need to get rid of 2 of my really old consoles that are still in box.
Yours?
So if anybody wants to make an offer on an Atari 7600 and a Magnavox Odyssey 2 in box with some games, I need to offload those. I don't want to collect anything older than NES. And even at that, I don't collect much of that.
No, I'm not much of a collector.
Yeah, but
like a retro game though.
I do like one from time to time.
I do, okay, you know. I don't even know what accent we'll go for.
And I've even lost interest in collecting Super Nintendo games because of cartridges. The batteries are starting to die.
Oh.
So when we were playing Soul Blazer for the show, put like 3-4 hours into it, put the cartridge in the next day to play it, gone. Nothing.
Soul Blazer.
Blazer. So
yeah, but Alundra was okay, you know. I think it was all right.
You're going to get to the end, I hope, and go, my God, best game ever.
How do you know? You've never got to the end.
That's why I said I hope.
It could fall apart.
Apparently, there are 7 shrines that we have to defeat. Because there was a little spot that talked about Alundra having to...
Well, Alundra is somebody called the Releaser, isn't he?
He is.
Destined to give away, to get the curse off the land. Or some shit. You know that old chestnut.
Yeah, use the 7 crests to break the seal.
Needs lots of shit to do one thing. Standard.
Defeat Melzas, who is using the Murg, which are a group of monkey people, to aid in his full return, just like Ganon.
I was impressed with the giant monkey's nipples.
They are nice.
They are the tip of the nipples.
Oh, the tip of the monkey nipples.
Oh, yeah.
Them primate memories.
He likes to beat them.
New leaf. New leaf.
Nope.
Nah. But we're going to finish this in 2 weeks, hopefully. And then we have a special guest coming on our show.
Do we?
We do.
It's my grandmother. Have I fallen over?
Oh, man. Your grandma would be the best guest host. She would truly save the show.
She would spend the whole thing telling you about her illness.
I'd listen.
Don't.
Do you call her Graham?
No, Gran.
Gran?
Gran.
Why?
Because that's what we do.
Granny.
Or Nana.
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 No, we have a very special guest. One of our listeners is going to be joining us in the coming weeks. Mr. Mike Tyson.
What, the boxer?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. To play some Earthworm Jim. He is taking advantage of our Patreon program.
Bastard.
No, that's good.
Oh. To do apologize.
If you're not familiar with what Patreon is, you can support us on Patreon. Money goes directly back into the show. Allows us to continue to do this year after year.
Yes, this costs cash dollars, you know.
Quite fine cash dollars.
And even though Tom is ridiculously rich, he's gone AWOL, so we need your support more than anything.
Yeah, our sugar daddy has left us.
Oh, no.
And I'm running out of couches to shake out because I'm spending all my money on monster trucks.
And I'm just poor.
He's from the Northland.
We only have 2 dimes to our name.
I tried to rub 2 nickels together, but all I had was a penny and a piece of gum.
Tasty.
We're going to revamp.
My house is powered by a crank.
Craig with the crank?
Crag on the crank.
We're gonna revamp our Patreon here because I feel like one of the cooler rewards that we have, people are missing out on, and that is our factory sealed unwrapped.
Tell us what factory sealed unwrapped is, Eric.
I haven't been asked
to say this.
Let me tell you what it is,
you.
Dan.
Thank you.
Before
I would like very much to know what factory sealed unwrapped is.
No.
Oh.
Before the show, we press record and technically get ready for the show.
Which usually consists of people wandering back and forth between rooms.
Taking a poop.
Talking nonsense. Yeah, various strange noises as we clear our throats in the build.
In preparation for the show.
Basically a look behind the curtain.
Sometimes it's 3 minutes, sometimes it's half an hour. You never know.
Sometimes it is. It really is.
Yeah, it's just some of them are really funny, some of them are just pure shit.
Basically, if you want to see how much not thought goes into every episode of Factory Sale, listen to this shit.
And I don't do any post-editing on the show whatsoever.
Nope.
So basically, I take the entire core recording of the show, upload it to Patreon, and you get to listen to the show in its unedited form.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So we're going to lower the dollar amount on that because we want more people to hopefully be able to take advantage of that. It's kind of an incentive. I don't know. We haven't thought about it. Would $1 be too much?
I think $1 sounds good.
Keeps us in business.
And we will probably be revamping the rest of the rewards. We haven't thought it through.
We have too many rewards.
We do. We'll condense it down. We'll do some new ones. We'll put out the results on next show, and we'll also do it on Facebook.
Facebook. Where's that Facebook?
That Facebook is, what is it again? It's facebook.com/groups/factory sealed podcast. We have a really great community going on now. I know there's a lot of people who still listen to the show who haven't joined, and we'd really like you to come join us because we have a great time on there. Like I've met loads of people who listen to the show who are always on there, always commenting on our stuff. And honestly, it's so appreciated. I get such a laugh out of it. Like I posted something on Facebook earlier this week asking favorite FS moments, and people just responded great to that.
It is really cool to see the group of people come together.
It is, and it's one of them things I'm really glad we did. We have Twitter as well, which is factory_sealed. I've been doing a bit more on that the last week or so. It's not a main focus.
Tell you the last time I logged into Twitter.
It's because you're a loser. You're not down with the kids, son.
Damn kids and them tweets.
And we also, if you do like FS, go and listen to the Gosh Darn Video Game Podcast, which is our new modern show. Which is also, we've got 2 episodes available now. First one's me, Tom, and Eric. The second one is me and Eric.
Which, Dan, I made good on my promise from that and went and bought Horizon.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
So we're going to be talking about that next time on the show.
Oh, yeah, that will be on Gosh Darn Video Game Podcast, though, because we don't want it to bleed over into this one.
No, we don't. Who knows when that's going to be, though?
God knows.
Well, we probably know, but I just don't know.
What?
Huh?
Do we have any emails this week?
We do not. We haven't gotten an email in quite a while. If you want to send us an email, factorysealed@manatank.com, send us your questions.
Oh, I don't like it when we don't have emails.
We haven't gotten an email since March 14th.
Is it working?
Oh, it's working. We need more questions, though.
We do.
factorysealed@manatank.com. Guys, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll be back in 2 weeks, hopefully with the end of Alundra.
Yes, there may be a gosh darn video game podcast in the meantime. We don't
Yeah,
know.
somewhere in between. Could be this week, could be next year.
Years.
Who knows? But until then, toddy bye.
That's my line.
Toodle pip.
Teddy bear.